coffee.
Oh, you're doing iced coffee.
This is iced coffee. I'm trying I'm measuring every day how soon it makes sense to put it in the freezer to get it perfect for right now. So today's test was putting it in at 11:30.
Does that make it? Is it going to
pretty
work
good
for you?
It's not quite icy enough, but it's close.
You're getting there. It's a little slushy.
So so tomorrow 11:15. We'll do it at 11:15.
Oh, there we go. It's live on the Brad and Britt
How soon it makes sense to put it in the freezer to get it.
Hey everybody, let's share.
Let's see. That should do it. It ought to do it.
Yeah, it looks like you shared it. My God, everything worked out nicely. Oh, did you see that the great Pat Patterson from World Wrestling Entertainment has passed away?
That's not the Pat. That's not the radio Pat Patterson, right?
No, not the radio Pat Patterson. He was had a great tag team in San Francisco back in the day with Ray Stevens, who was not the Ray Stevens that you're thinking, but yes, and he.
There's a name shortage apparently.
There's only a few names out there, right?
It's just aren't that many names.
Ah.
Oh, I shared it twice.
Well, my God, you're a fan, aren't you?
I'm on there. I didn't see it, so I did it again. So now I'm on there twice.
Look at you doing all the things.
I guess I should get rid of one of them.
You're one of our top fans. Display your badge.
Come on, booger. Let me get rid of that one. Boy, it's running slower than molasses in our shit factory.
What does that mean? I don't never heard of that.
I don't know what that meant. I don't know. You know what? I'm just going to leave it alone and worry about it later. How about that? It seems like a reasonable thing to do. It's all frozen up on one of them. It's working. It looks like it's working on the other one. So we'll try it again. We'll recirculate it. That's what happens when you're using the operating system from 2009.
That was a good year. Better year than 2020, that's for sure.
Great year. Yeah, man. Yeah, boy. Boy, it's just all right. I just quit. All right, let's just do it.
Better to overshare than not share at all.
Yeah.
Ready when you are.
Are we ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It is the Brad and Britt cast for yet another day. We're glad you are with us. Thank you so much. I got a question here. Here we go.
Please, I'm ready for your question.
It's one of these, shouldn't we be a little bit consistent kind of pointing out things here?
Uh-oh.
Because about an hour ago, I got notified of a story of the comedian John Mulaney being on Jimmy Kimmel last night and telling a story about how he got investigated by the Secret Service because of a joke he told a couple weeks ago when he was hosting Saturday Night Live. All right. This is the joke.
All right.
We're in a leap year, and leap years are started in the same way. There was a leap year that was where Julius Caesar became the emperor. And another thing that happened with Caesar during that leap year is he was stabbed to death by a bunch of senators because he went crazy. Now, apparently, certain people watch this show that you don't think watch the show and have decided that meant that was a dog whistle And Mr. Mullaney needed to be investigated for triggering possibly some crazy person, maybe in the U.S. Senate. Maybe a senator would go crazy. It wasn't just a person that would stab Trump. It might be a U.S. senator. It might be some crazy lefty senator. You know, name a Mark Warner from Virginia. He's a
Chuck
lefty
Schumer.
senator. Chuck Schumer.
Chuck Schumer might stab somebody to death or something.
Okay, so they have talked to him, and he then told the story that the agents were very friendly, and they said, "Look, we know you're not talking about.
He's not plotting insurrection. He doesn't have a network on Reddit. He doesn't have dog whistles that immediately go out to a network."
And they did ask him if he'd put up any manifestos. He said, "No, I don't do that shit."
Right, that's fine.
So that's the end of the story. Now, we have how many days ago? 2 days ago, where that crazy ass fuckface Joseph DeGeneva, one of the Dream Team asshole morons who have checked all of their credibility and their entire history and resume and thrown it in the toilet in defense of Donald Trump. You know that DeGeneva was a prosecutor in the Southern District of New York. That's how big he was.
He used to be a big deal. He used to be revered by people. He used to have a great reputation. And this happened on the Howie Carr show, I believe, on Newsmax, right? Is that where this happened?
Right. And for those of you who don't know who Howie Carr is,
please lay this out for us, Brad, please.
Howie Carr is one of those people that we talk about who show up at radio conventions,
right?
And Howie may have shown up at one. He probably didn't, but I'm using that as a broad example. Howie was a columnist for the Boston Herald, which is the kind of the New York Post of Boston. It's the other paper. It's been on the verge of going out of business 65 times.
Is it tabloidy like the New York Post?
It's an absolute tabloid paper.
Okay.
That is exactly what it is. And he's the asshole right-wing columnist for the Herald and has been for 30, 35 years. I mean, he's been there forever. And about 20 years ago, he really caught the radio bug and became a complete right-wing fuckwad New England talk show host. And he's on a bunch of stations up there. And
was it the big one? Was he on WRKO, the big Boston station?
He's probably been on it and off it. On it.
He has. He was. He quit because they wouldn't support him, and then they had to have him back, and it's just ridiculous.
So it would make perfect sense that this is the kind of show where an asshole like DeGeneva would feel free to make the comment that he did, that Christopher Krebs, the cybersecurity guy, the guy whose credentials were so impeccable, was so well vetted by the Trump administration and by Donald Trump himself from his days at Microsoft, that he was a Donald Trump hire. And, you know, a few weeks ago, he came out and said, God damn it, this election, it went great. Everything, no breach of security by foreign governments, none of that shit. And, you know, that Trump got rid of him. And so therefore, after the 60 Minutes appearance on Sunday night, DeGeneva says the following. Ready? Christopher Krebs is a Class A moron. He should be drawn and quartered, taken out at dawn, and shot.
So those are two separate ways of murdering somebody. Those are two separate things.
Right. And by the way, the execution must occur at dawn by the firing squad when it does occur. Now,
is that just because the light is at its best, or I don't understand?
Yeah. Now, I tell the way too drawn out story, which I'm famous for. Because I don't hear anything about Joseph DeGeneva getting investigated by the Secret Service or the FBI.
No.
Or the police in whatever jurisdiction he made those comments in. Right. I don't hear him being investigated for essentially not just leveling a threat or a dog whistle call for someone to go after Mr. Krebs, but it was explicit. It was way worse than just, for example, Delaney's joke on Saturday Night Live, who ended up having to get the
door knock. Let's check on. Well, part of it was because Howie Carr stopped the show immediately and said, Joseph DeGeneva, you cannot say things like that on my show. I need you to apologize. I need you to. No, he didn't do that. Oh, he laughed and went on to the next thing. Is that what Howie Carr did during that little Newsmax show?
Right.
Oh,
and by the way, even if Howie had done that, that would be right up there where Trump says, "No, I'm not going to say things like Britt Whitmire is a child pornographer who has raped." I would never say anything like that. And then it's so funny. It's right. It's just funnier every time.
Well, I think we're consistent on all that stuff. And, you know, there's a lot more, as we know, there's a lot more violence that's been coming from the right. And we know that Joseph DeGeneva has the support and would get attaboys from, I don't know, white nationalists everywhere. Remember, not everybody who supports Donald Trump is a racist, but every racist supports Donald Trump. And that includes white nationalists, neo-Nazis, people who go and shoot Hillary Clinton targets in Idaho, people like that. They get inspired by people like Joseph DeGeneva, and they go, hey, that's a good idea, that drawing and quartering. Let me Google that and see what it is. Dum-de-dum-de. Oh, it involves horses and shit. Let's do that. So, yes, I think we're being completely consistent in all this, as you say, Brad.
With that in mind, I give Mr. Krebs complete credit for not only not cowering in the face of crap like this, but still being out there in the public, you know, because following up on the 60 Minutes thing, he went on the Today Show and said, look, I heard what he said. We're a nation of laws. I plan to take advantage of those laws. Mm-hmm. I have an exceptional team of lawyers that win in court, and I think they're going to be busy. So, now, in the world of right-wing media, that's a threat, okay? Right?
That's a threat. That needs to be investigated.
Right, that needs to be investigated.
Donald Trump has been attacked. Donald Trump has been attacked right there.
Right. Joe DeGeneva was attacked by a guy who said he's going to get lawyers who are going to do what lawyers do. That's a vicious attack. It shouldn't be allowed in this country. That's my opener. What do you got?
Well, this goes right into this. I believe everybody has seen this now. Gabriel Sterling, who is part of the Georgia election board and a lifelong Republican, was very upset yesterday, and they had a press conference, including the guy that you've seen he's one of the best sign language guys, I think, in the country. The guy in Georgia, he's tremendous. He's the new star.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
When you're speaking at a podium and there is a guy 3 feet next to you who is gesturing and gesticulating like he's trying to flag down an airplane at 30,000 feet. Come on down, because he's doing that sign language.
That's what you got to do.
How do you? I give Gabriel a number of extra points for being able to just keep his shit together, not look over at the guy. He didn't move once.
And the other thing about the guy in Georgia with the sign language, the vest look, he's bringing that back. Holy shit, that guy! He looks like he's $1 million. He's in fucking GQ or whatever that guy is.
Fortunately, we're not obsessed with trivial things.
No, we don't get sidetracked
because that is the most important thing that comes out of that story, isn't it?
I want to get like 5 vests and just start wearing them around town. Yeah. It has to stop," said Gabriel Sterling. "Mr. President, you have not condemned these actions or this language." He added, "This is elections. This is the backbone of democracy, and all of you who have not said a damn word are complicit in this. It's too much." His outburst of anger and frustration came amid a sustained assault on Georgia's election process by Mr. Trump. It's gone from Brian Kemp to Raffensperger to even some folks who were just transferring files, one of whom was sent a noose, Brad, for doing his job. And that's what really got Gabriel Sterling's goat and made him go out to that lectern and start really calling names and getting very upset. Mr. Sterling says, "Mr. President, it looks like you lost the state of Georgia. Stop inspiring people to commit potential acts of violence. Someone is going to get hurt. Someone is going to get shot. Someone is going to get killed. And it's not right." And I'm glad Gabriel Sterling said what he said yesterday. And I hope it's going to make its way to somebody. I don't think Donald Trump is ever going to care. I don't think 50 people could get killed because of this, and he would ever bat an eye. But I'm glad that Gabriel Sterling said what he said. It's very sad that he had to say what he had to say because it's very basic. But I'm glad that he stood up and said it, and he said it in a very forceful and dramatic way.
I think you might want to check this, that after he said that, Trump tweeted, in capital letters, "We're winning," or some crazy thing like that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think that was the response. When I heard that, I thought, well, first of all, this is obviously a distillation of everything that every Republican gutless senator has been unwilling to say for the last 4 years about various subjects having to do with Trump. This is just the most vivid and the latest horrendous thing that he's perpetrating in the country. And it's as close as we're going to get to a at long last have you left no sense of decency, sir, the Joseph Welch to Joseph McCarthy in the 1954 hearings, where he basically stripped McCarthy bare in front of the country. He was the Army lawyer, Joe Welch, who said those things. And to me, this was that. But of course, it wasn't in an official setting like those hearings were, and the whole country wasn't watching it live when it happened. So it probably won't have the effect that did on McCarthy, because that was kind of the beginning of the end for him.
Yeah.
And of course, there is no beginning of the end for Trump. It never ends until, he's 6 feet underground.
Now there it is again.
What did I say?
Here they're going to knock on.
Mr. Krantz, you're just like.
I tell you what, that was a great ad-libbed moment of real passion and speaking truth to power. And of course, he is another very, very Republican guy who voted for Trump.
Absolutely.
And I guess this is a bottoms-up kind of rebellion. It's certainly not coming from the top down. It's not coming from the United States Senate. They're willing to go all the way. They are in the car with Thelma and Louise. They're in the back seat, and that right now they've already left the cliff. Okay, the car is already headed downtown, and they're not going to get out. They had their chance, and they never did. But we have people of lesser rank at the state and local level who are willing to say these things, and it is to their credit. I think when you add that in with the judicial system, which is holding up so far, and I just read a piece right before we started about the chances that the Supreme Court could and would ever come to the rescue of Donald Trump, and they're about the same as the Carolina Panthers making the Super Bowl.
Oh, come on. Come on.
0.
That's not fair at all.
Right. Yeah. That's always unfair when you make a cheap sports analogy that's 100% true. I'm sorry that I said that.
You said it. You should have said the New York Jets. That would have been the New York Jets would have been your acceptable.
Jets.
Who are playing the Raiders this week in a trap game, and I predict the New York Jets will win their first game of the season.
By the way, that's not the name of that team anymore. They're known as the hapless New York Jets. That's actually
or as we like to call them, the team that will be picking first in the draft again this year.
Yeah.
William Barr, Brad, made a statement yesterday saying that the Justice Department has looked into voter fraud and they have not been able to find any voter fraud. He says in any kind of numbers that would make any difference. What he meant to say was, there is none. Fuck you, Donald Trump. Would you please shut up? But he didn't say that. He said, we've not been able to find any voter fraud in any sort of meaningful numbers that would change the election. Now, a lot of people are focusing on that part of the statement. William Barr also came to Donald Trump with a piece of candy, and a spoonful of sugar did let the medicine help the medicine go down. This John Durham asshole has been appointed as a special investigator. And he will look into the beginnings and the FBI involvement in the Trump-Russia probe, Brad. Already, Mr. Durham, who is a cause célèbre, a man who is a giant in asshole right-wing world for calling out certain things. He's gone through this investigation. So far, this is what this man has found inside the FBI. He's gotten one guy in trouble for changing an email. So now Mr. Durham will go forward with his investigation of the quote-unquote inappropriate activities by the FBI in investigating the Trump-Russia probe. So William Barr says something that Donald Trump doesn't like in saying that, I'm sorry, the election looks like it's on its up and up, but he also has a present for Donald Trump in saying that I'm going to continue this bullshit investigation, and Joe Biden's going to look like a real dick if he cancels this when he takes office in January, Brad. That was William Barr's day yesterday.
Yeah, well, first of all, he gets zero credit for part one.
Exactly. Okay? Thank you.
You don't get credit for coming out and being a slight bit more public with information that he already said was there several weeks ago that there was no evidence of any significant tampering, and since nobody was paying attention to that, he decided he would do it again.
Right.
And suddenly, that's Barr now becoming a tower of jurisprudence excellence by saying that.
Such a brave man.
Right, such a brave man for saying that, and the fact that he does want to light little cherry bombs that are going to go off in the future under Joe Biden's other foot, because one foot's already screwed up. He's only got one good foot left.
Get on the good foot, James Brown.
And you just have to remember to be investigating the 2016 election and surrounding circumstances. That's the one that Donald Trump won.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Remember the original, and this almost goes back to James Comey. Remember when he had the press conference 10 days before the election that basically fucked Hillary Clinton?
Absolutely.
And half of what he was saying was he just wanted to be so fair to her.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about making sure that it was fair. And Trump jumped onto that. He used that.
Right.
That it wasn't fair to her. He won.
That's right.
He was the beneficiary of this bullshit. And so this is kind of a continuation of that. And this is all about trying to assuage Trump and make him feel good because he has to come around to it. It's not easy for him to lose. It's just not a family thing. They don't lose in the Trump family.
With all the bankruptcies, you would have thought he would have gotten used to losing. I mean, that's a form of losing, isn't it? Bankruptcy.
Right. And this idea that you have to keep investigating, something from 4 years ago. I mean, this is the new Benghazi.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. This is
like the real. Yeah,
I
agree. But the Benghazi thing in and of itself was an absolute. Oh, pardon me for the phrase, witch hunt. That was a real witch hunt, right?
Right.
The Benghazi investigation, which turned up nothing after many, many years, and they were trying to smear Hillary Clinton, and they did just enough to damage her. There are a number of different things that people went through. There was everything was thrown into this gumbo of bullshit in Benghazi, including Hillary Clinton being so, distracted by being with her lover, Susan Rice, but she didn't get the phone call from Benghazi to go help those people.
Wait a minute, I didn't hear about. Tell me about that.
It was one of the myths that was perpetuated. I wish some of you that are listening to this could see Brad's face right now, because it's absolutely. His facial on this is fantastic. But you're right. This is the real. This is the real deal. This is your great witch hunt, because Donald Trump for years and years claimed that the Russia probe was a witch hunt. Yeah. Now this is the actual witch hunt. There's no witches, but William Barr, by the way, there was a retweet from a pro-Trump account that the president put out there, and it talked about how the DOJ was terribly unfair to Roger Stone and went after him, and Data killed him, and Data raped him. But now when there's real election fraud, they don't go and look at that, Brad. So William Barr, I don't know. I'm saying right now there is an opportunity and a chance that William Barr does get fired before January the 20th, which would make me happy, but it wouldn't really mean anything.
No, it wouldn't mean anything. It would absolutely mean nothing.
Well, I would like another guy who has pledged his loyalty and fealty to Donald Trump to at least get it in the shorts. That, to me, again, is sort of schadenfreude. There's another great German word. But yes, I would like to see that. And then William Barr can cry and wonder why doesn't Donald Trump love him after all that he's done for him? That would be something. So the statement was put out from the Department of Justice and from Barr's office. Wait. You guys in the Associated Press, it's fake news. Now, I didn't say we're going to stop the investigation of election fraud. No. I didn't say that. It's going to continue onward. So if you're fake media constructing that is what I said, then you're absolutely wrong.
Right. So you didn't hear what I said, even though I said what I said. And now I have to say that you didn't hear what I said, because
that's right.
we all just addressed the audience of one on everything that we're doing.
That's right.
And if the initial reviews that come in from him are not favorable, then we will change the story and deny that we said what we said, that you heard that we said it. Basically, the way it goes.
That's essentially what's happening. So
all right, I have a fun new little game to play, and you know how I hate stories about the royal family. I'm not interested in.
Oh, dear God in heaven, yes.
I don't give a shit about Megyn Kelly and her husband,
Meghan Markle,
Harry the Hat, whatever his name is.
Harry the Hat. Yeah, that's right. Harry the Hat Anderson, who moved to Asheville and then died the star of Night Court. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Right. I don't care what that the Queen has. I don't read those. I'm not interested in.
Yeah, I can't work up anything about that.
That being said, I think we're going to be exposed and inundated with Trump family intrigue far beyond anything Kennedy, anything Rockefeller. Name a rich family that's had a lot of people scrapping after money.
The Kardashians,
right? Because look what we have set on the plate right now. We have the probability of Trump pardoning the three kids he had with Ivana. That's Eric Don Jr. and Ivanka. Those three.
The big three. Business. We call them the big three.
Right. Now, the next one with Marla Maples, that's Tiffany.
That's Tiffany with an I.
She's not in the business.
No.
She's not involved in the government. She doesn't have a desk in the White House, so she doesn't need to be pardoned. And by the way, she's gone to law school, so she
at Georgetown. I hear they've got a good law school.
A good law school, and so she did not have the genetic brew that made her a 100% Trumper like the first three. And then you have the next kid, Barron.
Yeah.
Right. Who's what, 13 or 14?
He's 7 feet 4 inches tall. Looks like he's about 25 years old.
7'4". He could be the next Daryl Imhoff of the NBA. Look up that name if you don't know who it is.
I was going to go with the more recent Ralph Sampson, which was only it's only a 40-year-old reference, but please.
This one's about 55. By the way, Daryl Imhoff, that would be synonymous with big white stiff. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Big white stiff.
Billy Paltz, would he be along those lines? Worse than Billy Paltz.
Okay. Wait a minute.
So we're pardoning the kids.
All right. So Trump is going to pardon his three kids, and they haven't been accused of any federal crimes, as far as I know.
No.
So this is just what you do, and keep in mind. What were the three words that Donald Trump said constantly the last few months of the campaign? The three words were four words: the Biden crime family. Now, you tell me, which is the crime family?
It's not even close.
The Biden family, where really nothing has happened. No one is in trouble right now. They're not. Okay, a laptop computer needs to get a lawyer. That's true. Laptop computers hired 5 lawyers. But other than that,
don't they just go to LegalZoom like everybody else? Those laptop computers,
right? And I don't hear any rumors even of Joe Biden, as soon as he becomes president, pardoning Hunter for crimes that he hasn't been accused of yet. Haven't heard that.
And here's another funny thing. What? As he continues to populate the cabinet and the people who are going to work in the White House, no Biden family members. It's odd, right? None of them are actually being put into government positions to advise him and be on his cabinet or be right next or have offices in the White House or anything. It's
because he doesn't have the well of expertise that Donald Trump had.
That's right.
They were the best available. They drafted the best available athletes the Trump organization, not necessarily specialists, but just all around great people. They happen to be Eric Trump, Don Jr., and Ivanka.
The
Trump.
dream team.
Wait. So this is my vision here, that he has not only divided the country, not only has he divided the world, but he is in the process, and I'm sure it's already happened, even if it isn't explicit and isn't talked about at Thanksgiving dinner, if they still have had them, that one day, and I know this is going to really hurt the Trump fans watching us and listening to us. We have a lot.
Oh, tons.
We have a lot. We have a very diverse audience.
Earmuffs, guys. Earmuffs.
One day, and earmuffs if this bothers you. One day, Donald Trump really will be dead. All right.
One day.
And the fight over whatever estate there is will be epic. Okay, because you've got the three criminals who've been pardoned. Because if you get pardoned, by definition, it has to have been for something. Okay, you just don't walk down the street and pardon people. There's a reason. Okay, to protect them from some kind of prosecution for something that they very well may or are guilty of. And then you have the other two, and it seems like he, of course, favors those first three.
Big time.
The last two are just afterthoughts to publicly display the fact that he still had active sperm into his 60s.
That's right.
Right. That's was about it. Okay. And so if those two are left off of the list for getting their fair share, and that's a phrase you can use when it comes to going after daddy's money. Why don't I get my fair share? Lawsuits like that are filed all the time. If Donald Trump doesn't do what you do, if you're a normal parent and you're not setting your children against themselves after you're gone, you just say, I've got 5 kids, each of them gets 20%. And you just go from there, right? That solves all the problems.
Correct.
You know, Donald Trump would never do that. You know that he uses everything and will use things from the grave as leverage over these people forever. I mean, those first 3 are so fucked up because they have been subject to and have inherited the whole Grandpa Fred Trump mentality down through Donald Trump.
That's right.
And in other words, there is no law that can't be broken, no rule that can't be skirted, no person who can't be taken advantage of if it helps you, if it helps your business, if it helps you make money, if it hurts the other person. Those 3 are that way. The last 2, I'm sure, are not that way. I'm absolutely sure of it.
I know for sure. I think Tiffany has been I think she's been quite aware of how she's been shit on in the family pecking order.
And think of what you want of Melania Trump. I can guarantee you that she is intentionally not trying to raise her son to be like a Trump.
Well, she's trying,
right? But the mother has a lot of influence over.
I would hope so. I would certainly hope so.
And I guess we can then therefore somewhat blame Ivana Trump, the mother of those 3. She was in on it.
Oh, she was.
She was absolutely in on it, and she for the most part raised them most of the time. It wasn't like, Donald spends the weekend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with all of his kids and takes them fishing and bowling. That wasn't that way. He was completely out of it. But clearly his fame and his aura washed over them. And then when none of them could get real jobs and they started working for him, well, they were in the tank immediately.
Absolutely.
These other 2 are not going to be that way.
No, the gravy train's running for the big 3. And a couple of points here. First of all, if he does end up pardoning his children, it doesn't mean shit because they're the real problem for them, especially Ivanka, looks like it's going to be in New York State court and Manhattan court. So it doesn't matter as far as the federal charges, but it'll be a nice, going away present for those children. And I think the branding, particularly with Ivanka, it's going to be about 5 seconds. It'll be about 5 seconds after this is over to where they're going to try to work out some sort of deal to get a reality television show, whether it's going to be Don Jr., whether it's going to be Eric. They're going to try to put it on E or something like that. It's going to be one of those deals and try to rehabilitate her. Her play, I think, if you had one of those big time houses that does PR and stuff like that, she's going to be the smartest one of the 3. By the way, I would agree, but it's a low bar. The other 2 are so stupid it doesn't even matter. She's going to be the more serious, the more studied, the one who really has.
Are you saying you think that the 3 of them would agree to do a reality show to get
if they could get paid,
a Kardashian kind of a show?
Yeah, if they could get paid, if they could. Oh no, Brad, come on, they're whores. All 3 of them are massive whores, and if the money is there, and the money will be there in a sense, they'll do it. I don't care if it's going to be on E or if it's going to be on Lifetime or if it's going to be on one of those channels, Bravo. Again, one of the great hand-wringing things that we've had to go over the past 24 hours is that Donald Trump does seem to be set to announce his 2024 campaign. And the question has been, not only among Democrats, but a lot of Republicans is, are you guys in the media going to continue to open your legs wide for this guy over the next 4 years? Are you going to continue to give him free publicity like you did when he ran in 2016? And as you have, I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if he is the box office that he was. A lot of the Republicans who don't want him to continue on and be the nominee, or at least just get carte blanche to be the nominee in 2024, have said, I don't know. I think his influence might be waning as time goes on.
Well, that's an interesting point, because in addition to all the other things that Republicans have stood by and allowed to have happen and never commented on, while the rest of us in the world of reality, we've said, stop covering every stop covering the fake afternoon coronavirus non-task force pep rallies that were held back in the spring. Stop it. And by the time they did that, it was too late. But the law of diminishing returns sets in naturally. And you're right. Other Republicans will say, even if they don't say it out loud, which means they think it, they tell reporters this is off the record, they'll all be saying, will you stop covering Donald Trump? They will have joined, but that'll be out of their own self-interest.
Yeah, of course
that'll be out of their own self-interest, because if he continues to suck up all of the Republican oxygen, it's true, there will be no room for anybody to get in here. And I guess theoretically, Trump, if he wants to run at age 78, maybe he needs to get a new wife and keep pumping out kids to show that he's still a youth.
It's virility. Look at my super sperm.
And go, now, can he go back? Can he go back to dyeing his hair now that he's let it go gray?
Why not?
Can you go back to dyeing it again?
Why
because
not?
Remember, most of his flock, most of the cult, didn't think he was dyeing his hair.
That's right.
All right.
And they still don't. And you couldn't tell them now. They would not be able to.
So they think he's dyeing his hair gray now on purpose.
They're denying it.
It's actually he was a blonde up until 2 weeks ago when he decided to dye it gray.
The emperor has no dye. And one of the things those Republicans will be shouting at is Fox News. They'll be like, do you have to continue to cover? And Fox News will have a decision. Are we going to continue to shovel this shit to our viewers? Do they still love this stuff? Or are we going to be a little more judicious? And a lot of people like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio are going to go, if you guys want us to get back in the White House, and I know that's what you want is a Republican in the White House, Fox News, stop giving this guy so much free publicity.
I think that they've already shown that they're going to make the decision to stick with it.
I think so too.
They are not going to change their attitude at all. And again, and I know we have a lot of Fox fans.
Oh, huge!
A lot of people love that show, The Five.
Oh, it's few. Well, I'm a Fox and Friends guy. I got a Fox and Friends t-shirt.
Gutfeld is a splitting riot.
Comic genius.
But it is true, and this is just like I said, 15 minutes ago. One day, Rupert Murdoch will be dead. Okay.
But he realizes his own mortality, and his kids are slightly smarter than Donald Trump's, as it turns out.
But when he goes, then you do have a chance for some kind of change. But since and boy, it is amazing if you watch that channel, particularly at night.
Yeah.
The low rent quality of the commercials is unbelievable. It's mypillow.com.
Reverse mortgages.
It's reverse mortgages.
Medicare Part D supplements.
It's well, that's on all of them.
Of course, that's true.
Those guys probably pay good money.
I'm sure
that's probably good money.
Yeah.
But it's just all schlock.
Yeah.
And when you compare that to the other two channels that have much higher quality, they have all the car commercials.
Sure,
they have a lot more of that kind of stuff. I don't know how long that lasts. I don't know if that means anything, because we've been saying that about Limbaugh for 20 years. General Motors dropped off of Limbaugh's show in 1996, or something like that, and they never came back. And everybody boy, he's in trouble now. He can't have any. No, he's made it along with schlock advertisers ever since then. And if we think that they've been paying him $50 million a year because the show doesn't bring in enough money in advertising. We're wrong.
It's a bit but it is a bit of a loss leader.
We think we.
When we got a behind the scenes look at WBT, where we know that show did not make money. We know that show lost money.
I understand that, but it has to be making money for somebody.
The
fucking network that pays him the money
is full of idiots. Brad is full of morons and idiots that are firing people at a clip of about 20 a day. They're full of idiots who just have to pay him money after good money after bad, and that's part of why that company is a piece of shit right now. Brad, is because they make really bad decisions and they pay people who don't bring in money, and they just cannot stop throwing money at that guy, and they don't have a plan B for when he goes away. That show's been a lost leader for stations like WBT for a long time, and you know this because we talked about this when we worked at WBT. There was a behind the scenes look. That guy, that show was not making money for that station, and that's a top 30 market. I refuse to believe, but they have had some advertisers like that cybersecurity thing or whatever that thing was called. That thing worked for him, but yeah, he's been able to get by a little bit of a time. There's two other things that we need to discuss before we get out of here. First of all, the Justice Department has been investigating whether intermediaries for a federal convict offered White House officials a bribe, Brad, in exchange for potential pardon or commutation from the president. This is according to court documents that were unsealed by a federal judge yesterday. Those documents were heavily redacted. It was unclear who may have been involved. Nothing directly tried Donald Trump through the scheme. And the document said no one had been charged, but the documents offered a few clues about the White House and what they may have known about the scheme. One passage appears to show that a lawyer for the convict had discussions with the White House counsel's office about a pardon or commutation, but it was unclear whether the discussions were part of the scheme or a normal back and forth with the White House about the convict's case, Brad.
I would be shocked.
This fits in perfectly. I'm sorry. This fits in absolutely. There's nothing about this that is inconsistent with Donald Trump's behavior. And it is illegal, by the way, to directly pay for this. I mean, you can do other things that are not tied.
I can just see this thought process by Trump. Okay. And remember, there was that point in time where Joe Biden suddenly jumped way ahead in the amount of money that was coming in, even from small donors. He had hundreds of millions of dollars lead over Trump at least 4 or 5 months ago, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And so Trump, always desperate for money. He's the richest guy I've ever heard of who never seems to have enough money to do anything. I can't figure that out. How does that work?
It's odd.
I can just see him thinking, well, if someone who's really, really rich donates money to the Make America Great 2020 campaign,
right?
That's not a bribe if I give a pardon to that person, because the money isn't coming directly to me. A bribe has to, Trump thinks a bribe is like two guys go out into the woods and a guy hands another guy a bag of money. It has a big dollar sign on it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like all money does
right.
in the netherworld. And he's so stupid. He probably thinks that that's a legitimate, defendable
So
way.
if there's a third party, it somehow cleans or launders the money so that doesn't become the bribe.
And by the way, there's 30 or 40 pages of Michael Cohen's book that he devotes to the tap dancing and the attempt to pay Stormy Daniels by hitting a 3-level bank shot so that it wouldn't show up as Trump having paid Michael Cohen to come up with the money to pay off Stormy Daniels. Okay. Mm-hmm. So Trump is experienced at doing this and doing it wrong. Okay. And kind of getting caught for it, or at least throwing Michael Cohen under the bus for it. So the story, Britt, every story that we read about Trump that's like this, it always turns out to be true. It's not as if, oh, this one will go away. You'll never hear of this again. No, you'll hear of it again because it's probably one of 50 campaign contribution violations that have occurred on his watch. And speaking of investigations, what about the giant slush fund from Trump's 2017 inauguration?
Right.
Remember that? There were tens of millions of unaccounted for dollars.
Well, but there's been other slush funds.
Why isn't Bill Barr all over that?
There's other slush funds of that, including the supposedly, this recount defense thing, which is absolutely a gravy train for those ne'er-do-well children we were just talking about. So there's been a lot of different slush funds even since then. The story that just came out today about Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin. You are up to date about this. Mark Becker, who is a former Brown County, Wisconsin supervisor, says that in a November 14th phone call between him and Senator Johnson did call Donald Trump a quote-unquote asshole. He did, however, Johnson did defend the substance of his position. He says even though Trump is an asshole, he was right on so many things. I don't believe that Ron Johnson has commented on this. Ron Johnson then went on to say that conservative groups such as the Lincoln Project and Republican voters against Trump are also money-grubbing pieces of shit. Again, as opposed to the inaugural campaign, the Donald Trump inaugural campaign and Donald Trump's family itself. But the Lincoln Project, those are the money-grubbing pieces of shit. Any credence at all you give to Senator Johnson's comments here at all? I don't know if he's refuted these or not, Brad.
I agree with him. Trump's an asshole. I do agree with him. However, and by the way, when you read a lot of things that people write about Ron Johnson, not who are in the tank, Republicans or people like that, there is general agreement that he is the dumbest senator of them all. And think of what that is. Think of who you exclude. Think who you have bypassed to be the dumbest senator. And by the way, he's got some brand new competition. That Auburn football coach, Tommy Tuberville, is a complete moron. He's a complete moron. So I think Ron Johnson may move up in the rankings.
Who is on your list of the dumbest senators, along with Ron Johnson, Tommy Tuberville? I would say that John Kennedy from Louisiana would be on the list. I would say Tom Tillis from North Carolina. I would say Tom Tillis of North Carolina, I think, is on the list.
Tillis is dumb. John Kennedy is not, because you know what? Remember, he's a Harvard elite.
Oh, he's one of the Harvard elites.
Right. And this is one of the tacks that the Republicans are using, and most of them went to the same schools that the people they accuse of being, quote, the elites went to. If you look at Trump's cabinet, if you just look at the people in his cabinet, over half of them went to Ivy League schools. Who does he appoint to the Supreme Court? Brett Kavanaugh, Harvard, Yale. Neil Gorsuch, Harvard. Okay. And so this attempt to act like you're some country boy, and the worst purveyor of this right now, the biggest phony, the biggest highly educated, multi-degreed from Ivy League schools. I believe he might be Harvard on both of them.
John Kennedy, actually, according to Wikipedia, went to Vanderbilt for the BA. The JD was from the University of Virginia. He did, however, get a degree from Oxford. Excuse me, not very elite. No, not at all.
Yeah, right.
Not at all. So
right. My mistake, a technical mistake there. But look up Senator Josh Hawley.
Josh Hawley's pretty
Missouri, because he's playing the I'm just a good old country boy, and these elites, these liberal.
Ted Cruz plays that card. Other people play that card as well. Josh Hawley. Well, again, these are very run-of-the-mill universities. Stanford for his BA.
Oh, yeah.
And Yale for his JD.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yale Law School, which is, salt of the earth. I'm sure he had to wait tables up in New Haven in order to pay his way through
He's
Yale
probably still paying it off. He's probably still paying it off.
So what do we?
So this is their new fake populist bullshit.
What do we make of Ron Johnson and his behind the scenes ability to call Donald Trump an asshole? Do we give any credence to that, or
I give total credence to it because they all think that.
Of course,
they all think that.
But it doesn't count unless you say it.
Will all come out when Donald Trump is dead. When you're dead. When I'm dead.
I wish I was dead.
They'll all be writing the books about how they hated Trump. I hated Trump, but I couldn't say it. It's coming out from Penguin Books next week. There's going to be 1 million of those books.
But you don't get any credit until you actually say it publicly. I mean, even Lindsey.
I understand. Yeah. I'm not giving him credit for saying it, but I'm saying that the story is surely true.
Absolutely.
And it expresses what they all really think. There's no doubt about it. And hey, Carl Bernstein put out the list last week. He put out the list of all the senators who agree with Ron Johnson, who all hate Trump. He put it out there. And of course, they all denied it. Oh, that's not a blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Yeah. And Bernstein was wrong about Watergate, too. He got that one wrong.
He's been proven over the years
from him, too.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's enough damage. I'm fed. I'm going to take myself out, draw and quarter myself, and shoot myself.
How do you even do that?
I don't know how you do that.
I can't think of anybody that I hate enough to draw. It's too much effort. It's too much effort to draw and quarter somebody. I'm